Ruslan Bortnik, director of the Ukrainian Institute of Politics, is with us. Dr. Hanna Shelest, Security Studies Programs Director and Editor-in-Chief of Ukraine Analytica, is joining us from Odessa tonight. And we have Russina Kondratiyeva, I hope I got the pronunciation right, a senior journalist from Russia, joining us tonight from Moscow. Let me begin, in fact, at this point with Russina Kondratiyeva and Russian ground forces pressing into Ukraine from the northeast and south. They've encountered fierce resistance from Ukrainian troops. They still haven't, Kiev and Kharkiv are still independent. And now we have the Russian president making this announcement, putting the country's nukes on alert. We have the NATO reacting to that. We have the United States reacting to this. Your thoughts at this point as to how this is being viewed?
Hi, thanks for having me. I have to make a small correction. I'm based in Mumbai and not in Moscow.
Oh, right.
Yes,
right.
I am originally in Moscow. No problem.
My apologies.
People are panicking at all the ends, at least what I can feel from my own circles or the journalists whom I'm following everywhere, or the opinion leaders. Everyone is really concerned what President Putin really meant, and how far these can escalate, because clearly nobody expected anything like this can be happening right now.
Hanna Shelest, the fact that we've seen Ukraine today, or at least the reports are that Ukraine is agreeing to talks and without any preconditions. Earlier, it was resisting having any kind of negotiations in Belarus, saying it was unacceptable to hold talks in a country which has been used to launch strikes on Ukrainian territory. But, these two developments seem to have happened almost simultaneously. We had the Russian president making this kind of announcement on the one hand, and Ukraine agreeing to talks?
No, you should not consider these talks as a surrender. And our Minister of Foreign Affairs just spoke at the press briefing, telling that it is not a surrender. The leadership is not going. It is just the group of negotiators are coming to find out the Russian positions, what those would like to talk with. And it is not at the territory of the Belarus, because we consider Belarus as the party to the conflict, as their military bases being used and the cruise missiles today being shot exactly from the territory of Belarus. That's confirmed by Alexander Lukashenko. So they are meeting at the border between Ukraine and Belarus near the river Pripyat, and let's see what will be the result. It's because the president of Ukraine is proposing Geneva as the possible place for negotiations for the future, and definitely without any concessions. But the question is that Russians are losing a lot of soldiers now, and we see the demoralization of many forces today, a lot of them being just giving up their weapons and tanks and coming to the Ukrainian forces. That's why that is the moment to maybe to start talking, depending what Russia is going to speak about. The nuclear weapons, here is the joke today, that nukes is Mr. Putin Viagra. So as the old man, he needs some moral, probably satisfaction for himself, but that doesn't mean that he knows how to use them.
Ruslan Bortnik, you've heard the other panelists on the show right now. Obviously, the world reacting to these latest developments and Putin's announcement. But how is this being viewed in Ukraine? And, are you seeing the possibility of talks at this point resulting in some kind of pullback, perhaps?
As I see, hello colleagues, as I see Putin try to make scary Western countries which started a great program of support for Ukraine, military support, financial support, and this nuclear nuclear topic, it's only about scary for Western partners. But in this situation, for my great sorry, you should understand that the use of nuclear weapon, tactical nuclear weapon, is possible. And we should think over this dangerous. It's real. It's not only Viagra, like my colleagues very, very funny said. And I want to add something for this dialogue, to make this dialogue more technological maybe. We should understand we are talking only in the fourth day of war. And in this fourth day of war, at least 3 times we have some time, some like a pause in Russian intervention to the Kiev, some like a suspended this intervention because negotiations were started few times. And every day we have the attempts to new negotiation, to find a new agreement in this negotiation. President Zelensky addressed to the Prime Minister of Israel to make this negotiation between Ukraine and Russia. Prime Minister of Israel also addressed to Mr. Putin, and we're still waiting his answer. But this conflict is not only about army. Of course, Ukrainian forces is great, and their resistance make a great influence on the political situation.
Right.
But in any case, this situation will be resolved only on the table of negotiation every day, which are started.
Right. Ksenia Kondratьева, Kiev and Kharkiv are still independent. They haven't fallen to Russian troops. Has Russia effectively failed to achieve its objectives in the first 4 days of this war? And does this then build up pressure on Putin further?
First of all, I wouldn't like to make any predictions. I'm a journalist. I'm a reporter. I'm not any defense analyst. We are in a 4 day of war, as my colleague said. And for me personally, the only things that really concerns is, how many civilians are dying and how many of them are going to die. But speaking about achievements, we don't know when Russia has started the advance. We don't exactly know what was the plan, right? Because Russian leadership has not clearly outlined it, so it will be very, again, difficult to say whether Russia achieved or not. The way it is seen in Russia, I mean, you have to understand that there would be a section of people and experts who see the course of the war or the military operation as, we can only say in Russia, as successful, and you would see another section of people who believe that Russia is facing a lot of resistance by the Ukrainian army, by the people. It's all about, again, the fog of war is there, and I'm sure it's very difficult to people, especially general people, to really understand what's happening.
Right. As we speak, there's some images that are now that we're looking at. In fact, we'll try and see if we can play that out. But what appears to be indicative of the internal panic that's sweeping across Russia following an agreement to exclude Russia from the global payment systems, that's SWIFT. Ksenia, are you getting any sense of, any of these reports from Moscow and elsewhere of what the economic implications of the latest round of sanctions might mean for Russia?
Yes, definitely. The analysis of all those implications is being done. It's being discussed. SWIFT will really hurt. First of all, we've not yet got the details which exactly banks will be disconnected from SWIFT. And that has been over 12 hours since that statement has come, I believe. So we don't know what exactly banks are going to be disconnected, but it will mainly hurt those Russians, for example, like myself, who are outside Russia right now, because we won't be able to use our bank cards. But mainly what Russia has to be concerned about is the companies, the businesses who deal with the outside world and how they're going to do the transactions. I think now it's going to be difficult. The sanctions against central bank is again something that experts are still weighing on, how much it's going to hurt and how Russia can, level that. I think people in Russia right now are panicking not for particular sanctions, but first of all, it has been very, as much hard time it has been for the Ukrainian people who are being attacked. It has been also a tough time for each and every Russian, because we all have our relatives in Ukraine, our friends in Ukraine. And we, again, I would repeat, getting a very, very mixed information of what's happening there. So people are just panicking because the war is happening.
All right, we leave it at that. Thank you all for joining us on the show tonight.